מתחיל זרם. עכשיו פה אנחנו יכולים לראות מה מוזרם לייב.
אתה רואה גם כמה תיקים יש?
בינתיים אין, כי משום מה אתם עושים את זה באתר של ג'רוצ'ס שאף אחד לא... מה? צריך לעשות את זה בצ'אט. כן. עכשיו זה כבר לא יעזור. זה אנחנו נקליט. עכשיו זה כבר לא יעזור. עכשיו זה כבר לא יעזור. עכשיו זה כבר לא יעזור. Dear friends, welcome to the 4th Gidon Japhet Memorial in Jerusalem, Israel. An amazing event here which includes the Japhet Cup and... Dear friends, welcome to the 4th Gidon Japhet.
מסך אחד מהשלושה ולהתמקד בו?
אני יכול... לא, אני בכל השלושה אני פה, אבל אם אני רוצה, אני עושה נגיד מהלך בסטרימינג, אני עושה איזה מהלך, נגיד ג' ד' זה כבר שיחה. ואני יכול להתמקד פה ויכול...
ואתה לא רואה מה המצלמה רואה בלי שזה נכנס ללופ?
כי עיקרון אני צריך, בדרך כלל יש מסך שני שאני רואה. פה זה לא... אז... זהו. אוקיי. פה גם מהירות של אינטרנט, לא משהו. אוקיי, אני אתחיל עם זה וחבל את הזמן שלו. יפה. So we are here in Jerusalem for the 4th Gidon Japhet Memorial. Welcome. Sunny weather, great chess players, and of course most of you will be enjoying at the same time Brazil playing Mexico in the World Cup. But here, those for you who love chess have really great opportunity to watch several of the best world players, the field which includes Vasily Ivanchuk, world rapid champion, Jan Nepomniachtchi, twice vice world champion in rapid chess, Petr Svidor, Boris Gelfand, Anna Muzychuk, and George Mayer. It's round 2 of the Japhet Cup. In the first round, there were 2 draws and one decisive result. One decisive game. Gelfand beat Mayer with black. According to the format of the tournament, you have every day you have 2 games, and these 2 games between the same players. They're playing double round robin with 10 rounds. 6 players playing each other twice, so it will be 10 rounds, 5 playing days, only 2 games per day, and at the same day players meet each other with black and then with white. So Gelfand won his game as black. Actually Mayer had a reasonable position with white, but then he decided to play too aggressively and Gelfand managed to punish him for this. Anna Muzychuk played a great game against Petr Svidor in round 1, and Peter barely escaped with a draw, and Ivanchuk was pressing against Nepomniachtchi, but it ended in a draw as well. So let us focus on the opening phase, and we will probably start with Nepomniachtchi Ivanchuk. It's also the highest average rating in the game of these 2. So Nepomniachtchi is white and the Caro Khan on the board, very sharp line with black playing c5 very quickly, trying to undermine black center, and you see the position on the screen. So Nepomniachtchi is pushing. Now the idea of this position is very simple. White tries to create weaknesses in the center for black and to ruin this pawn structure with c4, using the fact that black is not well developed. But if black is in time to play bishop e7 and castles, then he won't have any serious problems. So let's see who is better prepared. Both of them spent just a couple of minutes yet, and it's hard to understand if they're in their opening book. Ivanchuk is black, Nepomniachtchi is white, and we shall see what's the plans. So bishop d3, you see, just played by Nepomniachtchi. He wants to trade these bishops to change the pawn formation. Let's say Ivanchuk takes on d3, c takes d3, and then rook goes to c1, and white will have several very dangerous ideas over the c file, penetrating to c7 and so on. I won't be surprised if Ivanchuk doesn't take on d3 and play something like bishop g6 at this position. No, but he took and played queen d7. The time control is 15 plus 10. It's sort of short rapid games. You know, usually rapid games are played with 25 plus 10, but in this tournament 15 plus 10 was chosen. And well, that promises a lot of action, definitely. So Nepomniachtchi, Ivanchuk, and we shall see if white manages to get something over the c file. If he does so, he will have clear advantage, but the question if he is in time. Let's see the second game. It's Petr Svidler playing Anna Muzychuk. Anna Muzychuk is the only lady player in this field, and she's seen as an underdog, but the very first game shown that she's very well prepared for the event, and she almost managed to beat Svidler, and he just managed to swindler it out at the last moment. So Svidler against Muzychuk, some rare line, and we see here once again white is playing very quickly, and Svidler hasn't spent much of time, but Muzychuk spent only 4 minutes, so it must mean that she knows what she's doing. She didn't spend a lot of time. White has a bishop pair advantage, but the bishop still is on f1 and rook on h1. Should he be in time to deal with the bishop and castle, white would be clearly better. But the question if he is in time, knight b4, have a look at the position. Knight b4, knight attacks the queen on c2. And well, Peter has not an easy choice, because if he goes to d2 or to c3, then knight goes to e4 and it attacks the queen. If queen goes to b1, that's probably the place you should go to avoid bishop f5. Then black might have some attacking chances like this, queen c7, and then I'm trying to get to c2. All in all, quite a problem for white here. He should be coming with something really concrete. Otherwise he will be just worse. If he plays queen d1, for instance, Anna can play bishop f5, and she will be attacking here. And well, I think black is doing well. D takes e5 is an option, and then you have to be ready to jump with checks. Must be careful with check also, because knight would go to d4. So I'm not sure. After queen d1, maybe she doesn't have to play bishop f5. She has other options as well. And taking on d4 is of course possible, and probably queen d1 must be played. And now a few words about Gelfand against Meyer. The third game we haven't yet mentioned. We mentioned they're playing, and Gelfand here with white after a very successful game with black. He won the game, and now if he managed to prevail with white, he will be a clear leader after day one. Very unusual line of Catalan. Meyer plays very quickly. You can see time difference now. Gelfand spent already more than 7 minutes, and Meyer has made his moves instantly. Black is playing very risky strategy, but the whole strategy is based on the fact that this bishop on e5, you can see here, is a sort of a trouble. And if he plays g4, and while I tell you so, Gelfand does play g4, then black has counterplay against this pawn, against this exposed king. Let's say f6, bishop g3, and h5, for example. So it's gonna be really fierce battle today. To remind you, 6 players, double round robin, 10 rounds, 2 rounds each day, and this festival in Jerusalem is also accompanied not by one but by several side events. If you can call a side event an open tournament with 16 grandmasters participating, and also 2 events for amateurs. So it's probably the biggest event ever held in Jerusalem, and surely the strongest event ever in Jerusalem, and quite possibly in Israel. You didn't have so many stars in one tournament as we have here for years. Of course, Israel did host chess Olympiads, but it's a bit different story. So Gelfand Meyer, now we will try to get an update from Gelfand Meyer if there have been some moves. Yes, so Meyer took on e5, he took this bishop. Now black has a bishop pair, but white has a better pawn formation, and the bishop on c8 is somewhat vulnerable. because if you want to make him play, you have to expose yourself with f6, e5. But then again, with two bishops, you cannot allow yourself sometimes. Anyways, Mayer takes his time, and let's see what did Swidler come up with. Swidler Mozicek will get some moves. What did he play? Well, let's see if the moves are coming in or not, or he's still thinking. Swidler Mozicek. Surprisingly, we don't seem to get moves. Let's see if he's getting. We're trying to see if there are any more moves coming from this game. Yes, so Swidler went to d1 and did. It was probably the only option. And Anna reacted very quickly. I think she is ready. She was ready for that. e4, knight went to e5, and knight e8. White has bishop pair and everything would be good, but this knight on e5 might be in trouble because f6 and h5 is a very dangerous threat. And obviously you don't want to play something like h3. It's an option, but you don't want. Maybe f4, a3 he plays, and she instantly responds with f6. Anna is known for her theoretical knowledge, and I think she is knowing what she is doing now. And I would say that at this point, I would prefer having black here, because if you take on b4, I take on e5, and then I take on b4. I don't think there is any serious problem for black, and maybe it's easier to play actually. Takes the rook can get into play, maybe queen d2, then I take and play knight c7. Anyways, it looks pretty much okay for Mozicek here. To remind you, Anna Mozicek is 3 times world champion, twice in Blitz and 1 in Rapid. And actually one of the reasons she is here because her proactive position was made last year, and she refused to go to Saudi Arabia to defend her title just for the reason she was in principle not ready to go to Saudi Arabia, and well, in Israel many people saw it as a sign of support for principles that Israel believes in, and she got this invitation. Anyways, Swidler Mozicek we saw, and then we get back to Nepomniachtchi versus Ivanchuk. And Nepomniachtchi actually takes his time, and probably he doesn't find any good way to continue, because after queen d7 played by Ivanchuk, black simply wants to take on e5, and actually, for your just information, d4 would fail to typical knight takes e5, because queen on a4 is hanging, and taking on d7, knight d7 would be just bad for white. So Nepomniachtchi apparently has to sacrifice this pawn, and then to look for some sort of compensation, which is not obvious at this point. Definitely he might have one. Speaking of which, actually, Nepomniachtchi has been doing fantastically in all rapid events. He was twice world vice champion, and he was for a long time top 3 or top 5 players in the world according to the rapid rankings. But Ivanchuk is Ivanchuk. I mean, you don't need much to say. And Ivanchuk is on a good day, is a dangerous player for everyone. And I recall Kasparov saying to me, well, basically, he believes that for himself, the only real tough opponents in 90s and the beginning of 2000s were Kramnik and Ivanchuk in a good form. He was doing very well while playing Anand. He was easily beating most of the chess elite by that times, but not Ivanchuk when he was in his high spirits. And okay, now Vasil won this pawn on e5, and Nepomniachtchi will get some compensation, but I'm sure it's not sufficient. So white will have to fight for equality. Out of all these players here, you see only one Israeli player, Boris Gelfand, and out of all the others, Ivanchuk is the most frequent guest to Israeli shores. He's playing for Ashdod Chess Club, playing also in the Israeli National League and in European Club Cup. And he has been maybe a dozen of times in Israel and enjoys it very much. And usually he comes early and leaves later to have some time to either to go to Jerusalem or to have some vacation. He really enjoys his time here. Well, for the rest, most of them, they have also Jewish roots, and for Nepomniachtchi, Swidler, and Meir. Meir is the winner of Jewish Maccabia Games of 2017. So let us switch to other games and see what's going on here. But meanwhile, we can see that Ivanchuk is doing very well against Nepomniachtchi and Swidler Muzicek. Swidler Muzicek is already ending with a pawn up for Muzicek, but very strong bishop for Peter Swidler. I think the position is more or less balanced, and if I remember well, I even have seen some game in this line which ended in a draw, because it reminds me some long forest line. I'm not playing this line myself, but I sort of remember it occurring. Objectively, black is totally fine, but if anyone can be better is white, because the pair of bishop, especially this strong bishop on d4, guarantees white a certain compensation, but objectively not more than that. Still, maybe easier to play. And let us see the local hero Boris Gelfand. Boris Gelfand against George Meyer from Germany. Boris Gelfand has had actually a rough year 2017. He lost a lot of rating points and had few very modest results by his standards. But now he started to recover. He played very nice event in Poikovsky. And of course for him, the tournament in Israel, in Jerusalem, is always very special. And I think he would be one of the favorites of the event. And actually his first round's win already confirms that. To remind you once again, he won his game against George Meyer. Once again, to remind you, after the rounds, some of the players will come to our studio to share their impressions. So when the round is finished, stay with us just to watch and to listen to comments of these distinguished players. Yeah, I understand that Brazil is playing Mexico, but this we couldn't do anything about it. Well, George Meyer actually he's quite ambitious. He pushed f6, knight d3, f5, and that's probably what he has to do. He has to try and use exposed king of white, because g4 pawn created sort of attacking ideas for black. But after gf, it is not actually so simple. You'll probably have to take with the knight. Oh no, he didn't take on f5. He didn't take, he just built up his rook 1, and then h5. Meir is really, you know, he wants his money back. He lost the first game with white, and now he wants to fight. Really, not to try to hold Gelfand, but to play a game where he'll have a chances, and he does have a chances. So Swidler Muzicek is an endgame. Nepomniachtchi Ivanchuk. Ivanchuk is simply better, but probably not sufficient for a win. Let's have a look on this game. Nepomniachtchi Ivanchuk, we have it on as a main game now. Yeah, bishop f4, and now he wants to take on e5, so knight c6, queen a4, and well, probably after e5, black is just much better. Something went wrong for Jan Nepomniachtchi. It's interesting to know. I would say that Nepomniachtchi and Ivanchuk are somewhat similar in their chess path. When they're in a good mood and in good shape, they're about the very best players in the world, but they're very uneven, and sometimes they're capable of playing really poor game, which, for example, would be a rare scenario for someone like Magnus Carlsen. Although for him it happens, but for them they are really players who depend very much on their mood, on their form, and so on. Swidler, in a lesser extent, I would say. Swidler is a player who is more stable in this regards. So Nepomniachtchi Ivanchuk. Ivanchuk is a healthy pawn up, and with a very good pawn formation. I'm not sure we have clocks actually very accurate, but it looks like Ivanchuk is doing well. Swidler, Muzicek, and Gelfand Meyer, yeah, still in progress. To remind you, the Open tournament has started yesterday, and today first round was played today's morning. After 2 rounds, there are several players on 2 out of 2, and that includes the tournament favorite Arkady Naidic. He's rated for the ever favorite, but other higher rated players did suffer some losses or draws. For example, Tamir Nabati, one of the highest Israeli players, He drew today against old experienced grandmaster Jakov Zilberman with white. He didn't manage to prevail, and he's on one and a half out of 2. Of course, there is still a way to go. The tournament is 7 rounds long, but of course most of the attention goes to the top tournament, which is a rapid, although it is a rapid event. It assembled so many stars that it became the tournament of the year, and surely in Israel, and also actually more than that, because I really can't remember when the tournament of such a scale has been held in our country. Anyways, we shall switch again to Gelfand Meyer and see what's going on. Gelfand takes his time, and I understand why he's worried, because this h5 and f5 undermining the position of this pawn on g4, and what to do? It's not so clear what to do. Probably g takes f5 I would have played, because g takes h5 is not something, and otherwise I would simply take on g4. Gelfand is known for his unusual manner of playing rapid chess. He uses to spend a lot of time in the opening. I mean, a lot of time for rapid chess. He can spend like up to 10 minutes in the early stage, and then to play on his last 5 minutes and to hold the control. So Gelfand, my knight goes to e5. He doesn't want to ruin his pawn formation. And this knight on g7, actually many of you know the knight on the rim is something not very nice, but knight on g7 or in b7 or b2 or g2 is not lesser evil for black or for white when it is there. Knight on g7 here, you can see it is restricted by its own pawns, and the pawn on g4 also restricts as well. And imagine the knight would have been on f6, black would be simply better. But now it takes on a5 take, and probably he has to take on g4, even if it looks a bit ugly, but maybe it's still. First of all, pawn is a pawn, then you open up the rook from f file, and it gives you a possibility to play knight f5 at some point. So I would say that's more or less the way to play for Meyer. And we have Svidler against Muzichuk fighting in an endgame. I'll show it. We haven't been looking at it for a long time. Svidler Muzichuk, yeah, it's about equal. I would say that white still has enough compensation. He is pawn down, but black is very, very solid and has no reason to worry. Let's say knight goes to f5, and I think Anna should feel herself very comfortable here. And maybe at this stage I would say that Svidler have lost most of his compensation. So if previously I would say he would be, let's say, on the better side of a draw, here he would be on the worst side of a draw. It's still definitely not bad for white, but it's very, very easy to play for black, and maybe it is, in a nutshell, maybe it is just a draw. I mean, she doesn't have any problem, and I'm sure that if she had a bit less of a piety towards these players, she would play for a win. Let's say if Anna was playing somebody not 27-47 but 25-47, she would be not be satisfied with the draw here in this position. Anyways, Nepomniachtchi and Ivanchik gets sharper. Let's see this game. It gets really interesting there. Nepomniachtchi goes all in and sacrifices a bishop. Let's try and understand his idea. So if g takes at h6, then probably queen takes f6. Now the rook is hanging, and I want to play rook c7 or rook c8 in some lines. And if you go with something like rook e8, that's the most natural. Then probably I can play rook c8. Go rook c8 and create a lot of threats there. So let's see what Ivanchik will be doing. He took on b4. He decided against taking on h6. It indeed looked quite dangerous. So he played just a solid move. Queen takes b4, not allowing white to attack it, and still black is quite enough material up. In fact, there's 2 pawns already up to queen a3 and queen b4. And Nepomniachtchi has to go in sort of all-in attack against rook c8, probably trying to get to the black king by hook or by crook. It's not easy. I think objectively it should fail. But once again, it's a rapid game, and everything can happen. And also, I would say that it's easier to play with white. You just go and attack. And black has always to just bishop d2. He goes first, and then he would play rook c8. I think. I would not be calm if I were in Ivanchik's shoes. I would know that my position is very good, but I would know that practically I will have a lot of problems converting it because my king is exposed. So we see second draw in Svindler Muzichuk, and maybe we will ask both of them to join us in the studio if we can ask some of our team here to help us bringing Svindler and Muzichuk into a studio. We could get them here and to share their thoughts about the matchup today, and probably they will be joining us within a couple of minutes. And so 1-1 in Svindler Muzichuk for today. Muzichuk pressed very heavily with white, and she had no problems whatsoever with black. Promising start for Anna, although she obviously could hope for more from the positions she had in game 1. Nepomniachtchi Ivanchuk as expected, queen b5, h4, so Jan will try to attack here with h5, h6, rook c8 and so on. And Gelfand Meyer is the position we expected a couple of moves ago. Meyer did take on g4, and Gelfand goes knight f1, then knight g3. He sacrificed a pawn, but he tries to build up some sort of compensation thanks to the bishop on c8, which is poorly placed. Well, we shall see what goes on next. Nepomniachtchi Ivanchuk. Ivanchuk centralized the queen with queen d5. Actually, that's why I suggested to play rook c8 to pin this rook, not to allow queen d5, because now after queen d5, white has to lose a tempo, and queen on d5 is in a commanding position and controls everything. So we are waiting here for Nepomniachtchi to decide where he goes with the queen. Probably queen g4, maybe queen g3, but queen g4 looks more natural. And once again, queen f5 he played. Once again, it's clear that nothing is good for white here, but he still has some play. And we are joined here by Anna Muzichuk and Peter Svindler for sort of press conference or analysis of both games today, or just a conversation. So, yeah, 1-1. I think if somebody should be happy about this outcome,
I'm very satisfied with this outcome. Yeah, it's very difficult to give sort of opening handicap in both games against strong players, and yeah, I should not have survived the first one, I suspect, and the second one I'm happy that I found the line which led to this endgame, which I don't believe I can be better, but I don't think I'm worse either.
Don't you think you were a bit worse in the final position? Because
yeah, I mean,
I thought you got a good endgame compensation, but at some point I thought here, already towards the end, let's say knight f5, I wouldn't be sure.
Yeah, king d2, but I mean, I'm doing okay compared to what was happening in my head.
And compared to the first game.
Yeah, and that we don't touch at all yet. I mean, this is painful, but I mean, compared to some of the images I had in my head at some point during this game, this is a dream endgame.
Right. No, but because when you just got into this position,
yeah.
I thought you're having here enough compensation, but
how exactly?
This is maybe just something with king d2, but you're not.
I need to spend another tempo on something, and then like I'm very worried I will allow knight c6 bishop b5 somewhere, and then I no longer will believe I have equality. You know, I have to work against concrete ideas here.
And complete preparation. Anna, tell us about today's games. What was happening in the first game and the second game? So, in the first game you seem to be actually very well prepared.
Yeah, in the second game I was also quite lucky with the preparation because I guessed the line somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, that's very bizarre because I didn't settle on the first move until I sat down at the board. So, how people guess what I will do is
well, we'll talk after that. Yeah. But yeah, somehow yeah, it was like sort of. You were running into preparation.
Yeah, I played what I thought were sort of not my main repertoire openings in both games, and I ran into heavy weather in both of them, which is very unfortunate from my standpoint.
So Anna, how do you take that? I mean, in a way, it's a great achievement to hold Peter for 2 draws, but actually,
not from those positions.
Yeah, but not for those positions.
Not from those positions.
Is it like more an achievement or a disappointment or both, or it's just okay and you just keep on playing?
Yeah, for me it's just okay. Let's say if we speak about the second game, I also played it some years ago until its 6th school, and then it was 94, I believe, in that game. But this endgame was considered to be with quite a number of possession for white, so it's about equal. So I'm not like in any danger, but white is also fine in this line with f4 is I think the best, because then if I play like knight f5 and king d2 and
I thought king d2
f4,
followed by rook g1 f4. I shouldn't be much danger.
It's not so easy to really.
No, that's what I was saying.
Really very strong.
But my impression was that when the endgame just occurred, white was on the better side of the draw, and when you agreed the draw, black was on the better side of the draw. That was.
I never felt I was doing well enough to actually play for a win. Without mistakes, I don't think black is ever worse in this game.
Right.
Obviously, I'm a huge fan of having two bishops, so you can dream. Like if you give me 3 tempi here, I will start having ideas. But against any kind of reasonable play, I think I'm trying to equalize, but I should be able to equalize because of how solid my structure is and how good the bishops are.
I thought bishop b5 is simply just a way to just push and without any risk for black.
Bishop b5.
That what? Bishop b5.
Yeah, but I
mean,
probably should
and
hold this. Yeah, takes.
Bishop d1.
So stupid.
But then rook d8 and
No, bishop d1. I think I might start running into trouble.
well, but at the end of the day, you would just pawn up. So d8, d4. No, I thought taking on rook c1 something.
Yeah. So that's what I was expecting
Yeah,
to
but
do.
I even consider that maybe you can sacrifice
I'm going
some
to
other
h4 or
forces.
something.
Yeah.
No, but once again,
I thought white has to work for a draw at this position.
yeah, I don't really disagree with this assessment, but it felt to me like I'm not really very far from equality here, and I should be able to hold. I mean, what was worrying me the most was that I also was like down 12 minutes on the clock. The combination of those two factors was not ideal, but objectively, I think the bishops should secure me against too much trouble in this position. At least this was my feeling.
Right. Let's speak about more general things. How do you like it here in Jerusalem?
Fantastic so far. I mean, I played here in 2014, and I sort of knew what to expect this year. And this is a very pleasant tournament to come to, and we are being treated exceedingly well. So,
Anna, it's your first visit to Jerusalem. What are your impressions?
Yeah, I agree with Peter that the accommodation is very well here, and it's my first time in Jerusalem. So I hope that after the tournament I'll have some time to visit some nice places, because this is very interesting.
Are you following the World Cup?
well, I was kind of forced to. Originally, I wasn't planning to watch it. Frankly, like I thought, if something is switched, if the TV is switched on in the room I'm in, then I will watch. But I ended up watching quite a bit of it, and last night was a bit bizarre because I don't think there were very many people who, gave the Russian team much of a chance in the 90 minutes, let alone to actually qualify.
But 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
was not 120.
Yeah, I mean, once they survived the first 90, you could sort of see what they were hoping for, and I mean, you could actually see it a bit earlier on even. But yeah, and I mean, it probably was the only way, objectively, the team had any chance of winning and qualifying. So there can be no criticism leveled against them for the stylistic deficiencies maybe that you saw yesterday. But in general, I mean, I no longer really count myself as a proper football fan. But World Cup ends up somehow, it's everywhere. So it's very, very difficult to ignore it.
So now, if it's difficult to ignore, you may have given us all a favorite to win this tournament. Just name one team. Don't name three. We know.
I've already done this, and the team I picked is already out. So
you have an easier choice now.
Yeah, maybe I should pick Croatia so that Russia has a better chance.
Okay.
That might be a good idea for me right now. Yeah, pick somebody who if the curse holds, this might improve Russia's chances in the rest of the tournament. I picked Germany to begin with. Even with everything that went in the first game, after the Sweden match, I thought they should be in a good spot psychologically, and I felt that Germany is a very strong team.
But maybe we should talk to a person who knows all these guys very well. Anna, after all your visits to Santa Bernabeu, San Bernabeu, or to Real, to Barcelona, meeting Ronaldo, meeting Iniesta, and so on. So what were you probably were rooting for Spanish guys, weren't you?
Yeah, I did. I looked the main time, like the first 90 minutes yesterday, and then I went to Belos.
Yeah, so you shouldn't have left, right? But in general, I mean, were you like following the game, the matches, or?
I followed also some other matches. Well, I can't name myself as a very big football fan, but since I was invited to Santiago Bernabeu and to Camp Nou, and I was really treated very well, and I met the players, the presidents of the club, and it was really nice. So then I was more like a football fan. I became more like a football fan, and I followed some matches.
Does Ronaldo wear your T-shirt? Because this photo made it into news, but I haven't still spotted him on Anna #1 or something like that. I mean, maybe that's the reason Portugal is out.
One of the reasons. Obviously, yeah.
Well, guys, so what are your? We're still with 2 games running. So Gelfandmeyer and
Gelfandmeyer is a huge mess. I've been trying to calculate something, but also somehow the Nepomniachtchi Ivanchuk game is a lot less. Yeah, the last time I looked up, I thought, okay, Jan did. I don't know exactly what he has done in the opening.
No,
he's done something less than ideal.
He was just simply lost.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But
so until Queen D7, had Black is okay.
No, after Queen D7, Black is already much better. That's the point, actually.
Okay, I thought that maybe Queen F4 was the only move
He
to protect the pawn.
was not in time to protect it somehow. Yes, and anyways, he was dead lost at some point, I think. But now he's doing very much okay, I think.
Yeah, I mean the king on G7. I think he probably has the perpetual, and he is trying to figure out if he has more.
I think he has more. Maybe Rook D8 even at this point. What's wrong with Rook D8?
Yeah, I didn't see that move, but it does look. Maybe I can play King H7.
You can also take on G2, but it's also not.
If I don't get mated after King H7, I would maybe prefer to go King H7 and pretend that I'm still alive somehow. But yeah, this is now horribly.
That's very dangerous. Yeah,
I'm aware. Yeah.
It's F5, and you cannot take probably.
No? And
Rook
H8.
Rook D8, and it's all.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. Yeah, this is So yeah, Vasily must have done something.
I'm not sure if times
too.
are accurate, so I don't know what's.
Yeah, because Ivanchuk was quite a lot
ahead on time. Yes, but then Jančík started playing. Jančík, okay. we should say Jančík because we call him between ourselves Jančík, but Jan has started playing much quicker and probably better. And
Rook D8 looks very strong. Yeah, in particular.
Yeah, they played it.
This already.
If he spots this line.
Yeah, if he spots a5, he probably just wins. Yeah.
F5.
It's not so difficult for his level and for his tactical skills especially.
Yeah, and this kind of short, precise calculation is not something that he struggles with in general. So yeah. Yeah, if he sees a 5, the game appears to be
over.
Pretty much over. Yeah. No, I think
this I played. Yeah.
No, I think that's still Emil's moves.
Yeah. Yeah, because
that will be a huge blow for Vasily because he was more or less winning in this game, and it seemed like it was difficult to even imagine where the counterplay would come from, to be honest. And
he played quite slow and let's say indecisive, because here, for example, that would happen. He went here and he was just 2 pawns up. Of course, there is some compensation. But
anytime you lose the H pawn in front of you, there will be some.
He didn't need it. He had it just here. Look at the position.
Just Rook E8.
Just technically Rook E8, Rook C8, or whatever. Maybe F5.
Yeah,
F5, F4.
Yeah, 5 F4 doesn't look horrible either. Yeah, no, it just looks like
it just lost.
It should be like a technically lost position.
And then F5 has played. And Nepomniachtchi won this game. So a big win for Jan from very bad position. Of course, if he comes to our studio, he would say that he always had enough compensation.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
And Gelfandmeyer, actually Meyer was pushing and had some advantage, but now probably.
Yeah, this should be a draw, I guess, of some kind.
Yeah, E6 is sufficient.
Well, King
F8 and
E6 Rook E5, or King G6 even E6 Rook E5. It should be.
No, it's black who is playing for it, not white.
Yeah, I don't know if you have enough here. I think.
No, maybe King F8 would be an attempt to play for a win, but it's not.
No, but after e6, you have to switch to.
I can take c2, b2.
Yeah,
So
you can.
so-
You can actually. Yeah.
I can take an. No, black is never in danger.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Ah,
And
okay, they
are,
already
are following
yeah.
something along those lines.
But it would be a draw. I mean, in a worst case scenario, it would.
yeah,
be
even A and C is a
yeah,
draw,
yeah.
but also White will always have enough compensation.
Yeah, it was
with
king
e4.
e4.
Yeah, king e4, king f5. Your Boris will not lose this position.
Yeah, I guess so. So that's sort of last game of today.
Yeah. So
This
Boris and Jan will be on +1 after today, and we, Anna and myself, will be on 50%, and there will be 2 people on -1.
one. Whom do you playing tomorrow?
I think I'm playing Meyer.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest.
You're not
I'm
sure. Okay, you'll be informed shortly whom you're playing with. And well, guys, it's a pleasure to have you here. But if you feel like you have enough of chess today, you are also welcome to leave. And I know Peter is never minded.
No,
to stay.
there will be more
Okay.
interesting games to talk to, and
Right.
you'll have more people in. So. I think
Anyways,
we'll-
I do hope you enjoy your time here in Jerusalem.
yeah,
the tournament,
that's
and-
extremely likely. Yeah.
And the weather and the food.
Some of the food. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Peter.
Sure.
Thank you, Anna. Good luck in the next round.
Sure.
And we make a short break to make sure if we have Jan Nepomniachtchi joining us after his win against Vasily Ivanchuk. Thank you.